I spoke to one of those celebrity campaigners, the Downton Abbey actor and conservationist Peter Egan. And I started by asking him, why is Friday's bill so important to him?
Because I think that the importing of trophy hunting body parts into the UK is the most disgusting thing I can think of anyone can do. It's the act of a psychopath to kill a beautiful animal and then want to put its head or its foot or its tail or its carcass on the floor. It's absolutely disgusting. It's shocking. Also, I mean, I'm not alone in feeling that. 80% of the UK are opposed to the importing of trophy hunting body parts, as indeed are 80% of the members of Parliament.
Mm. So the Conservative Party appear to agree with you because they put it in their manifesto in 2019. It was an election promise. They said they would ban trophies.
Exactly.
It's 2023, so why do you think they haven't done it yet?
Well, I think that within all of these things, I mean, there's a huge amount of pressure and an awful lot of money spent by the great big safari clubs who spend millions wanting to keep this disgusting business going. So there's a huge amount of pressure that I think sort of, cloaks and daggers behind the scenes that keep kind of shifting it sideways a bit.
Boris Johnson is the big driver of conservationism in his party. His father, Stanley, is a big conservationist.
Indeed, Stanley is,
Is it possibly that now Boris Johnson has gone and Rishi Sunak is here, it's not a priority for Rishi Sunak?
No, I think there was a kind of volte-face that happened in the last couple of years in terms of animals abroad and animals in general, and it sort of became a kind of like a woke issue, terrible misinterpretation of a very important word, woke. So I think it kind of, I think a lot of pressure was put on, particularly at the time that Boris Johnson became vulnerable and then was shifting out. A huge amount of pressure was put on by extreme right wing of the party that actually wants to keep this dreadful business running. Others
might say there's been a COVID pandemic, there's now a cost of living crisis underway, there's a banking crisis underway today. The government might have bigger priorities for their legislative time.
Yes, they might do, but this is a very simple thing. I mean, it has huge support from the party, has huge public support. I mean, it can be done in the stroke of a pen. It doesn't take any, party time, any parliamentary time to deal with this. They can deal with all the other big subjects that are to do with finance, etc., without it being interrupted by this. This is very, very simple stuff.
Peter, there is a counter-argument to this, though, isn't there, made by quite a few African countries themselves, and they say there's a lot of money potentially generated by trophy hunting. If trophy hunting is done correctly and that money's put back into conservation, then it could be a good thing. Funnily enough, Prince William is someone who agrees with that argument. Now, back in 2016, let me just read you this. He said this: so when an animal is infertile, he's at the end of his life, if somebody is out there and wants to pay that money, and it wouldn't be me, but if somebody did, as long as that money goes back into the protection of the species, then it is a justifiable means of conserving that species.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really happen like that because the trickle-down of money is minimal. I mean, and also the people who want to pay big money to kill animals want the strongest from the gene pool, like the wonderful lion Cecil that started all this going. They don't want to kill an old animal. It becomes worthless. And if the trickle down, like, for instance, Walter Palmer paid $50,000 to kill Cecil, probably after the pimp who got his money, who arranged it all, it trickled down to probably about $200 to the local community.
All right. Prince William's wrong.
I think he's wrong, yeah, definitely.
If Conservative members of Parliament, any members of Parliament, listen to this programme, I'm sure they will be. What's your message to them?
Be there on Friday, March the 17th at 9:30 in the morning to support Henry Smith's private member's bill. Very, very important. It's a huge democratic decision supported by 80% of the British public. So listen to their voice.
Peter Egan, thanks for coming and talking to me.
Pleasure, thank you.